they meant ignorance and knowledge, respectively. This is so because ignorance, like knowledge, unlike darkness, obscures true understanding. In the same way, as the remedy for darkness is light, the only remedy for ignorance is knowledge. Ignorance makes us bound and limited. Thank you, sirs. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Please occupy your chairs. Thank you.
Good morning to all. Eminent dignitaries on the dais, Dr. William Kamen, Dr. Stephen Gatt, Dr. Sunanda Gupta, Dr. Anjan Trika, and our own beloved organizing secretary, Dr. Sunil Pandya, and all the faculty members who have come to grace this occasion, this conference, all the delegates, and all the associates, friends from trade and industry, and all those who are associated and involved with the conduct of this conference. I welcome all of them to this lovely city and to this conference. Now, as you all know, this has been organized by Prerna Anesthesia and Critical Care Services in collaboration with Fernandez Hospital. And it has been a long journey and a great association, actually, which started around 14 years back, way back in 1997, with the birth of Prerna Anesthesia and Critical Care Services, precisely in February of 1997. I think we traveled quite a lot the last 14 years. And we were one of those few who were blessed under the cover of Fernandez, with a lot of encouragement from that particular hospital, management of that hospital. We were able to achieve what we dreamt, that we will take obstetric anesthesia to the citadel of excellence and involve in very high level or high degree of quality practice. But unfortunately, 14 years later, still when we see across the country, I think where accessibility to healthcare is still a challenge in majority of the terrain or the geography of the nation, with the infant and maternal mortality still staggering at a higher figure than in many parts of the world. I think we have a long distance to travel to make this accessible and available across the country to various segments of society. Now, this conference, I wish, with the experts from various regions of the globe and our own national faculty being here, I think there will be an immense intensity of discussions and deliberations on these topics. And Dr. Sunil has organized the scientific program in a manner so that all the relevant and pertinent issues in obstetric anesthesia are covered. Now, obstetrics, for the anesthetist, obstetric anesthesia becomes the bulk or the major volume of work in any anesthetist who is interested to practice all the aspects of anesthesiology, especially in this country, because of the demographic shift that is happening among the population of the nation, with the country getting more younger and younger, and about almost 540 million people around the age of 25 years. I think there's a huge scope, and with the government emphasizing on safe motherhood, there is a huge scope for all of us to be part of this. For that, I think we have to excel in our field. I wish this particular conference will give a deeper insight into how we ensure safe motherhood for the people, for the younger people, and reduce the mortality, and be partners in or contribute in reducing the mortality, maternal mortality. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Rampapa Rao, Dr. Trika, Bill Kamen, Sunanda Gupta, and Sanil Pandya. Thank you very much for inviting us here. This is an official joint OSAO AOA combined meeting. And I must say that until now, OSAO, which has been in existence now for about 15 years, has never ventured very far into India. And while I have come to Hyderabad before and have presented at one of your meetings, I have to admit that it wasn't on behalf of OSAO. So on my behalf and on behalf of Alexia, my co-chair, co-presidents of OSAO, I really would want to thank you all for inviting us all here. This is a momentous occasion for India, I feel, in some ways, because the OSAO executive has decided to include in our executive Indian representatives for the first time, and Sunanda Gupta will be on the executive for the first 2 years, and then Sunil Pandya will be also representing India on the OSAO board. The sincerity of your hospitality in Andhra Pradesh has always been fantastic. It was wonderful last time, and I can tell you this time you've surpassed yourselves once again. I think that Hyderabad, in many ways, for the internationals, could not have been a more inspired venue. There's plenty of local attractions. I think the most beautiful sculpture in the world lives here in your museum. I don't think you realize that, but to me, the Veiled Rebecca is one of the nicest statues in the world. You've got a benign climate, you've got excellent biryani, and I think it lives in the heart of India, so it allows us to travel around a little bit after this. And the conference facilities here are world class, but more importantly, I've seen in the workshops yesterday, for example, the incredibly high level, not only of presentation, but also of what you can do. And then, of course, there's the beauty of the people. You know, the hospitality of the locals. You're not just enthusiastic, but you're also very highly organized. I hope in some ways that OSAO can reciprocate this for you, and we're having a joint OSAO SOAP meeting. SOAP is the American Obstetric Anesthesia Society, in conjunction with the World Congress of Regional Anesthesia and Pain Therapy in Sydney in February 2013. The progress of anesthesia for obstetrics in the last 2 decades, as Dr. Rampapa Rao said a few minutes ago, has been really many leaps forward. So that if I think back what we were doing, say, 15 or 20 years ago, or even 30 years ago, the general anesthesia for cesarean sections has changed entirely. The regional anesthesia for cesarean section has changed entirely. The pain relief in labor, sure, we've been doing epidurals now in my hospital for 50 years, using a 7-day per week, 365-day service. And this is the year when we celebrate our 50th year of doing that. But nevertheless, the techniques have changed, the equipment has changed, the drugs and the concentrations have changed, and so on. So there's new adjuvants so our discipline has really gone forwards in leaps and bounds. And I'm sure that this conference will increase that framework which allows us to expand our clinical and academic skill base, both from the lectures, from the debates, and also from the workshops. I hope that in some way for this meeting that OSAO will enhance your AOA meeting. And I can promise you that there's been the addition of many of our executive committee from OSAO, and also many other speakers from Australasia and to this National Congress, and I think that will greatly enhance the scientific content. I think we bring with us, even though there might only be a dozen of us or so, we bring, I think, a wealth of experience, a lot of knowledge, and I can assure you that our executive, me excluded, bring an enormous amount of teaching skill. And I'm sure that this can be harnessed for the benefit of Indian obstetric anesthetists. You have among your internationals YK Chan, who's in the front here, and Katsuo Tori from Japan. You've got Warwick Nganki from Hong Kong, New Zealand. Fauzia Khan is here from Pakistan. And of course there's me. But also we have all the other internationals, like Bill Kamen and Bhavani Kodali from the USA. So really, the success of the AOA OASAO meeting has been achieved really by many, many weeks, months, years perhaps, of work. Organizing even a one-day meeting, and I know this from bitter experience, takes a lot of hard work. And in this case, even just looking at your programs, you can see the amount of effort which has gone into making these meetings a success. The difference between a mediocre meeting and a superb offering is sometimes very subtle, but it's to do entirely with what happens in the background by people like Sunil Pandya and Rampapa Rao and their organizing committees and the social committees and the scientific committees. I've seen the preparations in progress for many months. We've been receiving hundreds of letters, I can promise you. I don't answer them, but nevertheless I get them. And I am secure in the knowledge that this conference will be a tremendous success. I want to say special thanks to S. Rampapa Rao, to Sunil Pandya, to Drs. Gopinath and Surrender, but also to Evita Fernandez of the Fernandez Hospital locally, and to all of the other people who I'm sure I've forgotten hundreds for organizing a superb meeting. You know, it's interesting because I usually bring my wife and children with me, and it's a bit like this, you know. I hate it when your father tries to squeeze in some work while we're on vacation. You know, I think in many ways it is a bit like this. You know, they go and enjoy their days and we sit over here, but nevertheless, I still enjoy places like India absolutely tremendously. So thank you, AOA, thank you, Hyderabad, thank you, India. I hope that we can reciprocate in Sydney in 2013. Delegates, enjoy the meeting. Thank you.
As the President of the Association of Obstetric Anesthesiologists of India, I welcome all of you to our 4th annual conference at Hyderabad. Not very long ago, 6 years to be precise, the idea of forming a subspecialty association of a group of anesthesiologists who were working in or were interested in the subspecialty of obstetric anesthesia was mooted in Calcutta during the National Conference of Indian Society of Anesthesiologists. I was not in India at that time, but a year later, Professor Gupta approached me regarding this, and in 2007, AOA took shape as a subsidiary specialty chapter of ISA. It had its first executive meeting, followed by a day of scientific deliberations in Udaipur in the same year. Subsequently, AOA was registered officially as a non-profitable organization as per the Indian laws in Shillong, and a permanent account number, that is the PAN number, which is very necessary for tax purposes in India, was obtained. I go on record again to appreciate the efforts made by the OA Vice President, Dr. Bhattacharya from NIGRIMS, to manage all this efficiently in Shillong. I am aware that he is working for a 12A registration as per the Indian tax laws, which will be of great benefit to us, and I'm sure he will be able to achieve it. Thank you, sir. All new organizations or associations pass through the initial phase of teething problems, followed by a phase of consolidation. I am happy to inform you that we have successfully gone through the first phase and have entered the consolidation phase now. The next few years are going to be crucial for us. We would need to improve our visibility, primarily by increasing our members, organizing multiple short single-day scientific meetings in different parts of our country, and by formalizing guidelines regarding the safe conduct of anesthesia, obstetric anesthesia and analgesia, which are not, and I lay stress on it, which are not what developed countries are following, but those which can be applied to a developing economy like ours, where the healthcare facilities vary from high-end state-of-art corporate hospitals to financially starved primary health centers. Another important point in this regard is the involvement of bureaucrats and politicians at all suitable forums, so that our guidelines can be incorporated in the basic framework of healthcare policies, and which are often updated to decrease the maternal mortality rate of the country and for improving maternal health. This meeting, as already mentioned, is the first meeting between a joint meeting between the AOA and OASOA, which I'm sure is the start of a long and a fruitful association between the two organizations. I take this opportunity to welcome all OASOA members and office bearers to India and hope their stay in this beautiful city would be a very comfortable and enjoyable one. On our part, I can assure the OASOA members that the AOA is keen to interact, collaborate, and pool resources with all of them for research and development regarding the subspecialty of obstetric anesthesia. Over the last 3 years, the association has been bringing out a quarterly newsletter for the members with all the association news, some photographs, and a bit of scientific content. During the last conference in Assam, it was decided to bring out a journal of the society, and I was given this task as the chief editor. I am happy to announce here that our official journal, the Journal of Obstetric Anesthesia and Critical Care, has taken shape and would be officially released today in this function. By the time the AOA members reach home after this conference, the hard copies of the journal would have been delivered at the registered addresses. Initially, we planned to publish the journal twice a year, and all the registered members of the association would receive the hard copies of the journal free of cost. The association plans to publish practice guidelines regarding our specialty in the future issues of the journal, which would be suitable for the Indian subcontinent. I must convey my gratitude to the members of the editorial board of the journal, especially Drs. Gupta, Garewal, Rivari, and Subramaniam, and all the executive members of the association who have spent their time and energies during publication of the first issue of the journal. Thank you, everyone, once again. Initiating, right, sir, let's applaud them. Initiating a new project is always difficult, and what is more challenging is to keep it going. The journal presently is in the infancy phase, and I would need cooperation from all members of this association to make this project a success. I request all the delegates and fellow anesthesiologists to contribute to the journal in the form of research, studies, opinions, case reports, so that we can publish some interesting scientific content. The present issue has been published without any industrial support, and I must acknowledge that this is a very difficult task. Hopefully in the future, funding would be easier after the first issue has been delivered. The editorial board has quite a large number of international well-known names, so we think we would be able to get some international scientific content also. On my part, I can assure the members of the association that the editorial board would stand up to the challenge of timely publishing the journal so that we can get prestigious indexing at all possible forums. The association plans to hold a couple of updates and CME programs in the coming year in different parts of the country, smaller cities and not large metropolitan cities like Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai. This would not only promote the association, but also bring about awareness about the changing practices in obstetric anesthesia so that the maternal health of the country improves. I would request, and again I would sincerely request, senior members of the association to actively participate in these programs, even if the host organizations are only able to provide local hospitality because of paucity of funds. The association also plans to start a fellowship program in the specialty of obstetric anesthesia from the next year. The duration, the curriculum, the course content, the exit exam, and other legalities are being worked out. There are certain controversial issues regarding the minimum qualifications for obtaining these fellowships, which are being deliberated upon, and we hope to reach a unanimous decision regarding this very soon. I welcome you all once again and hope that you all will go back with some excellent memories of this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I now request the legend of obstetric anesthesia in India, Dr. Sunanda Gupta, to kindly address the gathering.
Good morning, dignitaries on the dais, delegates, our national and international faculty, their family and guests. It's a pleasure to have you all here with us today. Obstetric anesthesia has been at the forefront of innovations since the beginning of our specialty. And in keeping with this tradition, our specialty continues to evolve and serve as a leader in scientific investigations research, and clinical excellence. However, countries like India have to contend with some worrying facts regarding maternal health. It is estimated globally that approximately 515,000 women die yearly from pregnancy-related complications, an equivalent of 3 jumbo jets crashing daily loaded with pregnant women. A disturbing report from UNICEF says that an Indian woman is 300 times more likely to die from childbirth as compared to her Western counterparts. Thus, it is imperative that we focus on all issues related to maternal health in our country and keep abreast with the latest developments in this specialty. And that is where this conference, with an appropriate theme, risk management in obstetric anesthesia, is focusing on providing care and improving outcome in obstetric patients. This is a small step on our part to work towards achievement of the Millennium Development Goals. At the executive meeting in Shillong, like our President Dr. Anjan Trikha said, we had made an important decision to start our very own journal. And today this journal has seen the light of the day, and thanks to our editorial team with Dr. Anjan Trikha at the helm, I know how difficult it was to start this journal without any contributions from the industrial fraternity. In the coming years, we plan to work closely with OSO, SOAP, and OAA to provide better care for our parturients and increase our global visibility. I would like to thank the team of Fernandez Hospital, Prerna Group, and especially Dr. Evita Fernandez and the organizing committee of AOA 2011 for providing us this opportunity to come to Hyderabad and take part in this informative and well-organized academic event. Yesterday is but a dream. Tomorrow is only a vision. But today we live makes every yesterday a dream of happiness and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Thank you.
This is my first time in India, and although I've worked with many Indian colleagues over the years, some of whom are here today, my colleague Dr. Bhavani Shankar Kodali, Dr. Arvind Palanisamy in the front row here. My first time in India, but I feel right at home because I have so many friends in this culture, and it is a pleasure to be here. I thank Dr. Sunil Pandya and all the members of the organizing committee for inviting me here to this meeting, and I've enjoyed making new friends over the last couple of days. This truly is an international meeting. As I mentioned, 2 of my own colleagues from Boston, on the other side of the world, are here today with me in this meeting. But we also have several societies which are joining together to present this joint meeting. And I would like to offer welcome on behalf of another society, which is not one of the official delegates of this meeting, but the Society of Obstetric Anesthesia and Perinatology, which is largely an American society, although we have a very much of an international membership. And we are also very interested in sponsoring and joining with other societies for international meetings such as this and in other venues. So on behalf of all the members of the Society of Obstetric Anesthesia and Perinatology, I thank the members of this society for inviting me as their representative to be here today. I've been here now for 3 days already, and enjoying the food, enjoying the culture, enjoying the sights, and now for the next few days enjoying the company of everyone here in this room. So thank you very much for the invitation.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the City of Pearls, Hyderabad. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. William Kemen, OSA President Dr. Stephen Gatt, AOA President Dr. Anjan Trikha, Dr. Sunanda Gupta, the Founder President, and my own colleague Dr. Ram Papa Rao, and teachers, colleagues, and dear friends. Welcome to Hyderabad, and I'm sure that over the next 2 days, with this joint association of Association of Obstetric Anesthesia India and OSIO, the deliberations made will surpass our theme of the conference, that is risk management in obstetric anesthesia. or made sure all efforts to see that there were no communication lapses from our side. Despite that, there were few lacunae from our side, and we apologize sincerely for these things because they have caused some inconvenience to our fellow delegates and some of our faculty, and we sincerely apologize for that. And to make our interaction more meaningful with our dignitaries here and with the national and international repute faculty, we have created a sort of exhibition of Hyderabad within our exhibition center here. You have all the savories, the Hyderabadi cuisine, the Hyderabadi pearls, and Hyderabadi saris in the exhibition center, well, right here, so that you don't have to go out for shopping. So try to utilize the time in interacting with our dignitaries and our faculties as much as possible over the next 2 days. Welcome again to Hyderabad, and thank you all.